Alright, so like I promised in the previous video, we are going to learn about how to sort the items in a list. And again, to do that, I have already copied the list that we saw in the previous video. And you can see that the items in this list are not arranged in any particular order, okay? So sorting means you are arranging things in chronological order, either from the least to the biggest, or in reverse where you arrange it from the biggest to the least. And Python makes available a function or a method called sort, which you can invoke on list, and that is going to let Python rearrange the items in the list in chronological order. So let's say we want to sort the exam scores from the least to the biggest. It is as simple as saying exam scores.sort. Okay. Once you do this, the sorting happens in place. Okay, so the items in the list are going to be rearranged from the least to the biggest. And then now I can print exam scores. So we don't need to print before the sort. I mean, we can do a simple comparison. And I worked in a file called list_sorting.py. So I'm going to invoke that. And you can see that indeed the items in the list have been rearranged such that the least comes first and the greatest is at the latter part of the list. So 15, 20, 33. So it's basically arranging it in chronological order. And as you can see, by default, it arranges them from the least to the biggest. What if you want the reverse? Well, to do that, you can pass what is known as an argument to the sort function. We haven't learned about functions yet, so just take this from me and do it as I'm doing. But when we learn about functions and we create our own, you'll begin to understand why we're doing some of these things. So you just say reverse is equal to true. And once you do this, what is going to happen is the sorting is going to be from the biggest to the smallest. And so 91 to 15. And I have to inform you that the sort function doesn't only work on lists that have numeric data types, unlike the min, the max, and the other functions that we learned about in the previous video. This works for even strings, because strings can also be arranged in chronological order. So why don't we take a look at the menu again and then see what will happen if we sort it, okay? So I am going to comment out these guys, and then I'm going to bring in the menu, and then I'll say menu.sort. So this is basically going to arrange the menu in chronological order. So because these are strings, the arrangement is going to be alphabetical, okay? So I do this here, and then I'm going to run this again. And you can see that indeed it arranges them in alphabetical order. So the ones with B comes the C, N, P, and then the S follows. In the same way, we can also call the reverse equals true, so that it does the sorting in the reverse order. And we can run it again. And you can see that indeed the sorting has been reversed. So this is how we do sorting on list items. Let's take a quick break, and I'll see you in the next video where we continue our studies on some of the methods that are available on the list data type.